The opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
Scarefest Radio, the radio you can see.
In 1978, Michael came home for Halloween. In 1980, Jason doomed Fridays forever. And in 1984, Freddy became the ultimate nightmare. Now in 2019, get ready to meet the most horrifying of them all. This guy.
We gotta go.
What?
He's here. I saw him.
You think maybe we should get out of here?
Wow.
Some killer dude shows up. Protect him.
I think all my friends are dead. I think he killed them.
Overkill. Coming soonish.
And hello, everyone, and welcome to Scarefest Television. The original broadcast date is January 14th, 2022, leading up to Scarefest 14, coming up this October 21st through, like, the 23rd, or something like that, anyway. My co-host tonight is Mr. Brandon Griffith. Of course, you know him as the lovable co-owner of the Scarefest. And our guest tonight is Alex Montilla. So there's me saying your name the way you told me to. Anyway, everybody. Okay.
Nailed it.
We're going to start the shot now. Okay, everybody. Little business. 30-minute mark. We do have a celebrity announcement. We also, me and Brandon, toward the end of the show, will have something else to kind of throw at you to let you start the ball rolling. We're not ready to launch it yet. Or at least I'm not. But, okay. Little background on this movie, everybody. Oh, there's that cat. Now that'll raise my YouTube ratings right there. Anyway,
there you go.
This movie, everyone, needed to be an hour and a half to 2 hours long. It was 15 minutes long. It was put together beautifully. It almost, now here's a little trivia for you that I did put in a little blurb for this tonight's show. Okay, one best comedy. It almost, I think it was second place for best kill. Now, I have to be very careful not to drop any spoilers because, well, that's really what the entire movie's based on. So, was this dude getting killed? But the point is, it was a very, very good short. Now, I did notice that I didn't even realize it until I saw the trailer, Alex. You actually, this project 2019 was the date on the trailer. When did you actually manage to get this thing filmed?
Oh man. So, do you want the whole story?
Sure. We got an hour to kill.
Perfect. It's okay. So my brother and I were at a film festival for a film that I made in 2012. And it was just a straight comedy. And he went to the bathroom and he came out. He goes, I was peeing. And I was thinking, you should make a movie where the killer just doesn't die. I was like, oh, that's a good idea. And it was kind of just that. And so I just went off and wrote it in literally years, just kept just writing a little bit here and there and then thinking about it and just kind of let it sit forever and ever and ever. We finally shot it in the end of 2017. We shot it over the course of 3 months because it was only 4 nights, but we had to do a night of reshoots, so because we didn't finish everything in the first 3 nights. So like end of 2017, finally shot it. Took forever to edit. I mean, I called in every favor I could, and raised most of the money myself. So it was not it wasn't like I just had money and went and did it. I kind of just tried to do it for as inexpensively as possible, which was a task. But so finally finished the very end of 2019, and but 2020 was really our festival year, which was the best time to do movies.
Now that was actually the follow-up on that. Okay, 2020 turned out to be a good time to get movies out there. But now, what were you thinking when the spring rolled around and all the festivals were still going virtual, and all the people were still hiding under their kitchen tables and
Well, okay, so this is interesting, right? So I'm in California, but I'm from Florida, and you guys are in Kentucky, so probably we have some simpatico thoughts here. But like for me, it was like, well, why wouldn't you do your festival? Or like, I was confused. Literally the day everything in California shut down, I was getting in my car to go to the San Diego Latino Film Festival, where we were supposed to be playing, and I got a phone call saying that it was canceled. And so that was like day one of just, like, what, why? So I was kind of confused. I'm not saying people shouldn't be cautious, whatever, but I was just, it was very confusing to me how it was related. Obviously I understand it now better, but thankfully a lot of stuff on the East Coast and a lot of stuff in the South and all that kind of kept going and internationally. So I was, still able to do some virtual festivals and go to stuff. I've been to Texas, Florida, and Arizona, I think 10 times for festivals in the last year and a half because they never stopped. So it was definitely a weird time though, for sure.
Over to you, Brandon.
So the Florida thing made sense because I was going to say the guy that, if you look at the credits, like, so you have the jock, the party girl, the killer, the virgin. And by the way, loved the short. I think it should be a full-length feature film.
That's the goal.
The animations in the credits about how the jock died and like the images you get.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, like that was absolutely amazing. Like me and my friends, like we were like, we want to know more. We want to see more.
That was kind of the goal there. If you want the quick story, I think it's Friday the 13th. Is it 5 where there's the like Carrie versus Jason? Basically, it's the psychic. Is that 5?
It's 7.
7. Okay. So there's the scene where she's running through the woods and just finding all of her friends dead. And like, we didn't see them die. They just like, we saw some of them die, but some of them we're seeing for the first time dead. And I thought how funny it would be to do that in a comedic version where it's just like, you're seeing the people dead, but you didn't watch them die, and they're dead in very specific, elaborate ways, which I kind of did, but I kind of alluded to it. But that was the original idea, but it was just so expensive to shoot. So I was like, oh, let's do a cartoon to kind of fill in the gaps of what happened to all our friends, so.
Well, the pole through the back, like on the one animation with was it Tristan and Dwayne? I think.
Yeah.
Like just watching that, like I was thinking of Friday the 13th, and so I was just curious, and like with what's his name? I think it was Mike.
Yeah,
who played the boyfriend.
Yep.
The sweater and the kitchen scene, was that a callback to Scream at all?
So I love Scream. I actually just saw the new one. It was fine. But Scream's one of my favorite movies. Believe it or not, I love horror movies, but I'm not like the horror guy. Like I mostly do comedy stuff, but I love, slashers in particular. So this was very much in my lane, but I love Scream. It's just one of my all-time favorites. The sweater was not directly a callback to that, but later on I kind of looked at it. I was like, oh, this is kind of similar. Like it wasn't on purpose at the time, but it was a happy accident. What it's actually directly referencing is I had a friend who made a short film called Drudge, which is good. And it's kind of like a modern take on a slasher. It's almost like a techno slasher, for lack of a better term. It's a fun movie. And the guy in his movie is just like supremo douchebag who like wants to sleep with the girlfriend, and he's wearing a white turtleneck. And so I kind of took that character and just brought it up to 11 as a kind of a joke to my friend, to be like, hey, look, I did what you did, but like did not stop the joke. It kind of inspired it. So why not? So
the jokes in it, like so Naked, I think you made mention of like Naked Gun when we were talking like some of like the funny stuff. Like who writes, like, was that you and other people like working on that? Because like that part between the jock and the party girl, like you're fun.
Yeah. Okay.
We laughed at that until we cried.
Oh, good. So okay, fun story about that. I'm giving all my friends shout outs. I have a friend. Oh, so the guy who plays the jock is Bud. That's my friend Bud, and that's kind of just Bud. Like Bud is the guy that you see in the movie for the most part. He's not as like he's not woke bro, but he's very kind of bro. He's like silly. He's a great guy. I love him. And our mutual friend is a guy named David. And David was telling me he was once in a nightclub, and behind him, he just overheard this couple, and they were saying basically like, "You're fun," and the girl, "No, you're fun," and he's like, "No, you're fun," and then they just started making out and they left together, and it always made me laugh. I was like, "That's so stupid." He goes, "Yeah, I don't know why this works." Like he couldn't imagine like trying to pick up a girl like that, and so it wasn't in the script. We just got there on the day, and I just thought, "Oh, let's just shoot that and see if it's funny, later on," and so. Sure enough, we shot it, and I was like, I kind of like that, so we put it in.
I got the feeling it was like a last minute kind of thing because like you could see like just watching them interact, like it was hilarious. Like I thought it was great.
It was really funny too because they both had significant others, and at the time we're like, we don't want to be making out on screen like for a short film. And I was like, please, because again, it wasn't in the script. I was like, please just make out. And I think that was the one take where they actually did. Like every other time, they kind of tried to fake it. So
was that all filmed in Cali?
Yes, that was all shot in Pasadena at my friend's house, who's a famous porn star, which is a fun piece of trivia.
That's why you recognize the location, Brandon.
Yeah, it's just the background. You're like, I know that background. I know that ceiling.
Well, I mean, my Pornhub account, like, I mean, it's vast, and yeah.
Yeah, we
shot
the whole thing.
6 laptops in a year. I mean, it happens.
They break it.
Let's hop over to commercial break, everybody. We'll be right back with more Scarefest TV.
Great.
Everyone is talking about CBD oil, and it seems like almost everyone is using it. The research is ongoing, but the apparent health benefits are overwhelming. If you're going to use CBD products, though, what brand should you buy? First, find out where the hemp was grown. Imports are flooding the market. How potent is it? Look for a brand that plainly states its concentration on the label. And look for full spectrum CBD. This means the oil contains CBD and all the other cannabinoids, terpenes, and nutrients that are found in the entire cannabis plant. Look for Blue Leaf CBD oil. Blue Leaf Naturals is a Kentucky proud company. They use only Kentucky-grown hemp, supporting Kentucky farmers and businesses. Visit their website at blueleafcbd.com now and use the code SMILE at checkout for free shipping.
And welcome back, everybody, to the second segment of Scarefest TV. We're talking to Alex Montilla about Overkill, which now this is going to be one of those questions that I always ask short film directors. What is the next step after you do the? I mean, are you still running it on the film circuit, on the the festival circuit? This is too nice of a piece of art to just flitter away.
Well, thank you. Art is an interesting term for it. I'd go entertainment, like I don't know.
Okay, if you watched as many shitty movies that I've had to watch for this
this
show.
Is art. Yeah, this is high art.
Yeah.
I always just find it funny when someone's like, "Oh, you're an artist." I'm like, I'm an entertainer. Like that. That's how I always think of myself, because like I want you to go sit and enjoy yourself more than like get a message. As now, I mean, maybe that'll change, and I'll make the definitive movie about the Holocaust later. But what were we? Oh, your question was what's going on with it?
With this particular.
Yeah. So it's definitely this is definitely the end of its festival run is coming up here, because Like I mentioned, we played, I think, 2 festivals in 2019. And then 2020 was supposed to be, the year, but because of COVID, a lot of stuff got postponed or moved or canceled altogether. So now, I'm hearing back from festivals that I entered 2 years ago. So, it's definitely wrapping up. There's going to be some screenings coming up. There's one tomorrow in Los Angeles, but yeah, this is going to be the end of the festival run. And then, I've just been writing. I've been making little shorts on my phone randomly. I got this like rig where I could put like real lenses on my phone, which is kind of cool. It's very strange, but it's fun. So I've just been making lots of little stuff for as little money as possible and trying to just make something that pops and gets me attention and hopefully can get me a job.
Fair enough, but I want to know about overkill. No, seriously. This came up once before. I had a short film that we talked about. And I assumed that when, the festival run was over, it was just, no, they had these big high hopes of it being included in an anthology somewhere. Yours, however, does not fit the traditional horror film mode. Right. Which I'm finding out the hard way. So, there are all these like these streaming services like Alter and Crypt and all that. And I was at a festival where the woman who acquires shorts for one of them, I forget which one, was there, and I spoke with her. She was very nice. She's like, "Oh yeah, send me your movies." And I sent her Overkill, and she just wrote back like, "No thanks." I was like, "Oh, okay." Because it's kind of a comedy. He said it, not me. It's a comedy wrapped up in the slasher kind of wrapper. So I understand completely why if you're doing just straight horror movies, it won't fit. So they have all those anthology movies. I got asked to submit for one and they turned it down too. It's just, it's I'm proud of it. I think it's a good movie and everything. It's just, I understand that it doesn't fit if you're looking for a straight horror movie. Okay, I'm gonna pump you up, but mainly I just want to describe it to the viewers without any spoilers. It has, as Brandon brought up, it has most of your horror movie cliches. Yeah. It has, in other words, on purpose, though. Well, yeah, aren't they all? I mean, you can't go back to at this point, yeah. I mean, what are they on Friday the 13th? What are they on by now? At some point, somebody has to go, I'm gonna give up this whole summer camp idea. 11. I'm just saying. They did. They went to space. So, but okay, now looking at it, I'll put it this way: maybe it's marketing, because if all of the kills were just beautifully done. That's the only way. The only way I can put it. They were all horror movie quality. In other words, and I'm not just talking drive-in people. I'm talking like actual Netflix quality. I think doing something on that, like on a budget, like, which obviously you did. I mean it's phenomenal. Thank you. I mean, we actually, sorry, go ahead. Like 30 some nominations, like, or 30 some wins. It's crazy. That is not something. I mean, if I may, that was very unexpected. There's actually a photo floating somewhere on the internet from we had a guy taking photos one night of me just alone in the middle of the driveway with my head down because I was crying because we didn't shoot. We didn't finish the shoot. We didn't get everything we needed. And I just thought, this is terrible. It's all bad. I've never felt that way any time before. Like anytime I've shot something, I'm usually like, okay, we'll see what we got. And we'll fix it if there's anything wrong. This was the first time I ever thought I completely messed this up and this is bad. And so I called my brother, who I mentioned earlier, who came up with the original idea. And I said to him, I was like, I messed up. It's not good. It's not going to be good. I wasted everyone's time and money and all that stuff. So cut to the first festival we play and we win. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I mean, to the point where we're walking in and the trophies are on the thing. And I say to my composer who's with me, and he's like, "Oh, look at those. I want to hold one." I was like, "Well, that's the closest you're ever going to get." I said that to him. And so when they announced us as the winner, the woman announcing us said, "I heard you say you're never going to hold one of these. Here you go." It was crazy. So to win one award for this is nuts, because I really feel like I failed in a lot of ways. I've kind of stopped feeling that way because obviously it's doing well. But kind of going to what you're saying about the kills, I have two friends in Miami, where I'm from in South Florida,
who are horror directors. Like they're making a movie for Orion right now. Like they were, I don't know, but they're like horror directors. That's what they do. And I sent them this, and this is kind of my first real foray into it. Foyer? I don't know. That's probably the wrong word. Anyway, I sent them the film, and their direct response was, you do the horror really well, but the comedy's kind of whatever. And I was like, oh no, I failed at the one thing I'm good at. And they were just, in their defense, I think just watching it on your computer or something might feel that way. I had another friend who thought similarly, came with me to a screening before Friday the 13th 7, actually. And at the end, he grabbed me by both shoulders and he goes, I was wrong. This movie's made for an audience, playing in a theater. Like you nailed it. And he really liked it. But I think it's definitely a kind of communal experience type movie. I'm a little worried if it gets on streaming that people are going to be like,
I think, like, if you look at like what credits you've gotten, like the awards that you've won. I mean, when I looked at it earlier today, just before I was going to talk to you,
yeah,
like it's the fans. Like those are the film festivals and the awards that are driven by the people that are actually watching. And
yeah, that appreciate the genre. Yeah.
And if you can get horror fans on board, you've accomplished something, because trust me, we're a very niche group.
Well, like I said, I was never the horror guy, but like more and more, everyone's now like, oh, you're a horror guy. I was like, I guess I am. I mean, I'll take it. It's been so, I've been making short films since I was in like high school, really. And I've always submitted to festivals, and I've never really had a lot of luck, even with movies that I think are just as good, if not better, in other ways. But the way I've been kind of embraced by the horror community has been great. I tell everyone, I was like, if you have any horror idea, just go make it and just try to get into that world, because everyone's been very nice and cool, and it's just been a great experience to be involved. So
now I want to see now, I watched, of course, because I was so busy at Scarefest, I have not actually seen it on the big screen, but I did watch it on the computer like you're describing. And see, I think in some ways...
And you didn't hate it, so...
I think in some ways... Well, I'll put it this way. We've become accustomed to streaming. We've kind of learned... The only glitch in it is now I need subtitles for everything, because I can't see worth of shit. But, that being said, just like, okay, now here's a little minor thing that I don't know that I would have paid attention to in the theater, and that was, there was this little snippet of music in one of the later kills in the movie where it had Looney Tunes music, just a little blast of Looney Tunes music. Mm-hmm. I did not notice that the first time I watched it. I just didn't register, but the second time I watched it, it registered with me. So in other words, I can say that I think I enjoyed it more the second time I watched it, because then I was free to actually watch for details. Although I missed, okay, everybody says there's a cockroach in the last scene. I totally missed it. There's your spoiler alert.
You'll have to go back and see it.
Yeah, go back and look for that god dang cockroach.
It's and you'll be surprised you missed it, because it's pretty big on the screen. It's like right smack dab in the middle for the credit for the killer. But yeah, no, the Looney Tunes thing, from day one, the way I pitched the movie to my friends who I was getting on board to do it, as I said, it's Friday the 13th meets the Looney Tunes. And it kind of starts off as Friday the 13th and then kind of gradually becomes the Looney Tunes. And so the music, which I kind of helped co-compose with my friend, we kept all the same instrumentation of like a John Carpenter score, like the synth and all that. But then we did it like Looney Tunes style. So like there, when he's walking, there's the doop, 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 the plucking and all that. Like we did all the kind of Looney Tunes music, but really with all the kind of synth bass and all that stuff that you normally have. So if you really listen to the music, it does kind of slowly turn into that.
I was going to ask you, Alex, if you had anything to do with composition, because it reminded me of Carpenter-esque kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like the when I really start to pick up on it, when he's trying to break into the house, and it had a Carpenter feel about it.
Yeah.
And I was really impressed with the sound.
Oh, thanks.
Really impressed.
Thank you. Yeah, the music took forever because the guy who does all my music was really busy at the time. So literally I would just go to his place for like 2 hours a week or something for like 6 months. Like it just took so long. And at the end of it, he's like, you need to take a co-composer credit so I'm a musician too, but he literally played everything and engineered it and mixed it. But I would just sit in his ear and be like, okay, do this. And I would kind of hum it, or I would even play it on a piano or something. So I would like kind of help with like literally writing the pieces or kind of the cues where they go and all that. But, he did all the work, but he told me to put my name on it. I was like, I'll take a free credit. So why not?
Oh, what all do you play, Alex, if you don't mind me asking?
Mostly drums. And then I've been playing drums since I was 4 years old. So I've been playing forever. My dad was a drummer, but I can play a little guitar and sing a little pretty well.
We got our boy drums, and it's turned into like a Manuel Noriega kind of like sound breakdown kind of situation.
Oh wow!
Well, see
that's neither here nor there.
And in Kentucky, you probably have the space to actually play drums. Like I have to in my apartment in the smack dab of Hollywood. I have to like put pads on them, and it sounds terrible.
I've been in Hollywood, and I live in Kentucky, and actually went to L.A. for George Romero's Star.
Oh wow!
And I can tell you right now, like I do not want to drive in LA ever. But I love downtown LA. But
yeah,
it's really when you get out to the outskirts, it's not that different from Kentucky. I always thought that it was.
Right. No,
but,
yeah.
In certain areas, now we still have a shitload of rednecks.
I'm from Florida. I get it. We have rednecks and cuties.
What part of Florida are you from?
So here's where it's going to take a serious turn. I'm from Parkland, Florida, where that school shooting was. Literally the only reason anyone knows my small town is from that now, which is hysterical. Or I mean, it's not, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it's just such a bummer. You're out at a bar and a girl's talking to you. You're like, where are you from? Like Parkland. Like, oh, I gotta go. It's like, yeah, I get it.
Can't you say like a suburb or something like
that? Is like, a suburb. Yeah. Well, I used to say Miami because that's like 45 minutes south, and that's where I went to college. But then now that everyone knows where I'm from, it's a conversation starter, I guess.
Oh.
Or a killer, conversation killer.
Always say you're from the part that Google Maps zooms when you're zoomed out. It's you can still read it.
That'd probably be Boca Raton or Fort Lauderdale. Those are the two biggest areas nearby.
I've loved Fort Lauderdale ever since Revenge of the Nerds Part 2.
Yes.
Everybody, we're going to go ahead and hop over to our commercial break. We'll be right back, and we'll have announcements when we get back.
Spirit Mechanics is here to help. Their background includes many different specialties across the metaphysical spectrum, including alchemy, shamanism, Celtic witchcraft, angelic magic, astral travel, and more.
With over 30 years combined experience in the group, you can be confident in their ability to help. If there is a question you have that you cannot answer, they will do their best to assist you.
Metaphysics can be intimidating, confusing, and unfortunately, abused. Spirit Mechanics takes pride in being selfless in the pursuit of helping others, being humble and honest with their clients about their questions, and lastly, maintaining a professional and personable atmosphere. They want you to feel as you are coming to a close friend, and they will do everything in their power to make you comfortable and safe.
And now Brandon Griffith with our celebrity announcement.
Woo.
Well, thanks for that energetic announcement, Wes. I appreciate it.
Well, this is after you trashed me during the commercial for not having this guy's resume memorized and tattooed on my ass, but go ahead.
Well, apparently I'm just a little bit more excited, and apparently I watched Pee-wee's Big Adventure. All right, so we've got Mark Holton to announce. And if you don't know that name right offhand, I'm going to throw out Chubby from Teen Wolf.
1 and 2.
1 and 2. And if you thank you, Wes. Pee-wee's Big Adventure. My personal favorite, Leprechaun, where he played Ozzy.
Both of them.
Yeah, and
both
Returns. Yeah, Leprechaun Returns. I got that from my IMDb.
Yeah.
I've never actually seen this.
And as we also talked about the break, BM Farts. I mean, you can't beat that.
I want to.
Holy shit! He was also a shit. He was in Little Giants. I forgot about that.
Well, anyway, okay. Quick question: somebody knows anything about IMDb? He did have one movie that was Gacy, where he played John Wayne Gacy, and it's just flagged as video. Now I know what it means when it says short. I know what it means. Does that? I mean, that was 2000.
That was so. I can actually answer this.
Please.
So I used to work at Blockbuster Video, and that was one of the I think it was straight to video because that was one of our big things. We always had that. Yeah, 2003 video. Yep.
Okay,
I just checked it. Yeah,
I guess they quit making that.
We had that video on the wall.
I guess that's what it is. They probably quit making that delineation now because everything is straight to video.
Yeah, everything's streaming. Yeah, but yeah, that was so that was just straight to video.
Well, thank you.
So wait, Alex, you worked at a Blockbuster?
I worked at 2 Blockbusters.
Oh my God, you're my idol. I love Blockbuster so much. Like we had my mom when I was growing up. We owned a video store in my hometown.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and so I still have somewhere the original Frankenhooker box. That if you
nice.
press it, it says "Want a date."
That's great.
Oh,
I have my Blockbuster shirt and name tag back there somewhere in my closet. The shirt does not fit me.
Dude, oh my God, we've got to get you to Lexington.
Deal.
We're screening this 2 times in a row. Like you don't have to re-enter. Like we're gonna do it again. Wes will figure it out.
I'd love that.
We've got to make that happen. But
I'll have to ask my friend. He's from Lexington, I believe.
Oh, you.
Yeah.
He was on the. He's gonna hate this shout out, but he was on The Amazing Race. His name is Kent Caliber. So
yeah, put that in my notes. Rent theater for a 15-minute short.
Hell yeah, worth it.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And if you get a feature, like we're gonna let that one in.
Yeah, well, if I've been trying, so we'll see.
Well, that's about all I had. What are your? I still haven't got a complete answer on this. What are your plans to do with Overkill now? Because it would be a travesty to deprive the public of this. I'm just gonna say it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it'll eventually. So the short itself will eventually be up somewhere on streaming. I'm sure available to watch online. If opportunities come to put it in an anthology or any of those things, I'd probably take it. But in terms of the property, I have 2 different ideas for a feature. Just because I think you guys would agree. I think 15 minutes is about the most you'd want to see of this same joke over and over, which obviously won't ruin. But it's funny and it works and everything. I think at 90 minutes of that,
grant you the joke itself might not have played longer, but I think the scene. I'll put it this way: I've seen a lot worse shit drug out for an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah.
I think more and a little more setup could have been built into it.
Right. So that's kind of the idea. I mean, this movie literally, I started it in the middle or even at the end of kind of a slasher movie. Like that's the whole idea, is that this is almost the last 15 minutes or truncated of the last half of a slasher film. So I have 2 ideas. One that is this version of Overkill would almost be the first 15 minutes of one idea, and then I have another idea that's kind of elongated. A lot of setup, kind of a. It's almost a rom-com slasher, and it's kind of the basic setup of your rom-com or a slasher movie, and then the joke of this movie is kind of the ending of it. But I just need someone to like it. I've pitched it a couple times, and everyone doesn't seem to care.
Now, I do want to ask. Okay, you mentioned that this is pretty much self-funded and a lot. See, okay, now this is the inside baseball shit that I love about this independent film festival. Is this movie did not your little 15 minutes, okay, great. It did not show a lack of budget. I mean, it just.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, you mentioned the kills looked like like a big budget or whatever, but I mean, honestly, this movie, I think rounding up cost $12,000, which, I'm in festivals with movies that are costing 50 and more. Like I saw one short that was like crazy CGI and Jude Law shows up at the end, which was cool, but how much did that cost? I mean, this, like I said, I shot this at my friend's place, so like my fee was putting them up in a hotel, and I worked and worked and worked at a job I didn't like, producing at ESPN. What's up?
No.
And then I just saved my money, and when it was time to shoot, I took some time off. We went and shot the movie, and then I saved up more to travel with it and to submit it to festivals. So it's I got a little help here and there, maybe like an eighth of that budget, like from other people, but most of it was all just me saving up and calling in favors. I'm lucky enough that when I first got to LA, I worked on Hot Tub Time Machine and The Muppets in the editing staff, and so like the sound, the people that did the sound for those movies, I made friends with the sound company, and so I called them. I was like, "Do you have an assistant who would want to do sound mixing for this?" So, I mean, I got top notch. They had just finished Venom. Like I got top notch, sound for my movie, which was great. But I got it because I had a good relationship with them. So in terms of actual money spent, it's probably pretty low, but I definitely got a great value because from friends and people I know. So I've been very fortunate that way.
Yeah, to build on that, because judging these films, I've seen that we had outstanding, almost into 99% of the films that we had to screen this year were good enough to be in our film festival. Just the math didn't work out to get them all shown over the course of a weekend. But
of course, yeah.
I'm used to when I see especially a short, but in particular these independent films, the credits are like 5 people and 2 of them three of them have the same last name. Because right. Of the way you did this, do people really jump at credits? I'm in a movie credit. So they actually
I don't know that anyone does it specifically for the credit. In terms of the people who helped me out, a lot of people were just friends, and I asked a favor, and or they believed in the project. Like the people who did my practical effects. I know they were busy doing Deadpool 2 at the time. Like they were working on his arm, his bionic arm, and through a friend of a friend, I got in touch with them, and I told them how much money I had to spend on it, and they were like, "Yeah, we could do that." I mean, it's not going to be like the toppest of top notch, but like it looked great, it worked perfect. But everyone else I'd spoken to quoted me like $10,000 or more, and it's like that's my whole budget. So to find people just willing to work, that's part of why it took so long to finally make. Like it just I never quit, I guess, but it took so long. But yeah, I don't think anyone does it specifically for credit. I think they do it because it's a cool project to show people.
I had something completely right. This totally related to that, and I've forgot the question. Now I know where I was going. Actually, I was going to go more personal. Now with comedy, you said you're a fan of comedy. You're a movie guy, but you didn't consider yourself a horror guy until you got into this. What are your comedy influences? What do you strive for?
Well, so I think what you said when you said I'm a movie guy, I think that's the biggest. That's absolutely the right way to do it. And Psycho has been one of my favorite movies, if not my favorite movie since I was a kid. So I always liked horror. I just think I wasn't the horror guy, but everything I do, it always has kind of has to have some comedy to it. Like I hate things that take themselves too seriously. And even, I know this is a weird thing to say, I know, but even the movie like Schindler's List, which is such a great movie, if you really watch the first half of it, like there's a fair amount of like, oh, this is fun, we're having fun, which then of course makes it more tragic later. Like it makes you like the character of Oscar Schindler, all the more when he's kind of schmoozing and fun and all that stuff. So I always think comedy is very important. Like if you go see a movie and it's just all boring, it's just like bleh. So comedic influences, I love Mel Brooks. Always loved Mel Brooks. Zucker, Abrams Zucker, like, that I grew up, my dad would always show me the Mel Brooks movies and the, Airplane, all those types of movies. But I love stuff, within the cinema language, kind of putting comedy in there, for lack of a better phrase. Like Edgar Wright does a lot of that, where it's, unexpected kind of things just by nature of the way he's editing or camera move or something. So same with Robert Rodriguez. Like I love kind of the comedy. It doesn't have to be telling jokes, but like you can shoot something like a live action cartoon, and that's comedic to me.
Mm-hmm. I actually I hadn't really took me back to Schindler's List. My God, that was a few years back. But yeah, I remember that, and I would call that I would call it mischievous. I think would be a good. Everything he did in the first half of the movie was just mischievous. It was, So anyway, I get that.
But it's showing kind of the charisma.
Now the only other thing I want to know. Okay, you called in favors from friends. Another thing, and now this is shorts sometimes skimp on actual talent. The acting in this was hot. I mean, it was good. It was, now I'm not going to say it's Academy Award material, but I'm saying, when the lead became, we'll use the term frustrated to keep away from spoilers, it felt very natural.
Yep.
So in other words, she was believable at the panic stage. And so, send her my compliments.
Yeah, I will. She's great. I will see her tomorrow. Fun fact, she's South African and does a really good American accent.
Well, I'll be damned.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody.
I saw her in a short film my friend made and loved her.
Okay, we're going to hop over to Bonehead Weekly's movie review. And I've forgot which one he reviewed this week, but he'll tell you here in just a second.
Hey, this is Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly, back for another review. It's been a few weeks since I've done one of these. I was actually ahead of Wes. Anyway, this week I'm going to review a series that I just finished last night that came out in 2020 on HBO Max called Lovecraft Country. Now, is it a horror show? Is it a science fiction show? Is it a fantasy show? Is it about equal rights? Is it about how poorly we've treated African Americans in this country? It's about all of them. It's sort of, not really, but kind of, if you've watched them, I reviewed them. This is the pulp version kind of that. It does take certain things from Lovecraft, but most of those things are just taken in the first few episodes, and it goes off on its own thing. I enjoyed it so much, but it does get a little, how should I say, convoluted. It's pulp. So what I mean by pulp is, pulp fiction, where that comes from is pulp novels. It was the cheap paper that they printed these fantasy stories on back in the 30s and 40s and the 20s. And that's where this is pulp, like pulp fiction. And it's created by Misha Green. She does an excellent job. She wrote most of the episodes. It's stars Jonathan Majors, Courtney B. Vance, Journey Smollett, Michael Kenneth Williams, who just passed on. You know him as Chalky in Boardwalk Empire, and also he was in The Wire. Did I love it? Yes, I love the show. Is it convoluted as hell? Yes. So basically, this young guy named Atticus, we follow him as he's going across America. That takes place in the 50s, with a lot of Jim Crow, which is unfortunate, which plays into the backdrop of the story. And we follow him as he's looking for his missing dad, and his uncle joins along, and his uncle writes these books for African Americans so that they're able to travel. They could stop at this place and this place safe, and he has to go on these trips to figure out where's safe for people to go, because this is true. And we were right in the middle of Jim Crow, especially the Jim Crow South, and they had these towns called sundown towns where it was illegal for an African American to be there after sundown. I mean, this is our history. So part of it's a historical lesson, part of it's fantasy, part of there's ghosts, there's other dimensions, there's creatures, there's Lovecraft, and there's time travel, and there's everything but the kitchen sink in this. And did I enjoy it? Yes. I know I keep saying this. I really like it. It's up my alley. I just want you to know it's not perfect. But what I liked about it is the pulpiness of it, is it doesn't stop. At the end of the second episode, you're like, oh, well, you could have ended the series there. And then there's 8 more episodes. So that's kind of how the show goes. It just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. I mean, we end up in Korea finding out about a creature there, right? Because the Korean conflict, Korean War was going on. I really recommend it. I enjoyed it thoroughly. The acting's pretty good. Michael Williams is fantastic. A couple of the other ones, Courtney B. Vance is awesome. A couple of the other ones, but for the most part, the acting's really good. It's a little off kilter from time to time. And some of you are going to be, what the hell? What the hell? Every third or fourth 20-minute, 30-minute interval throughout the series is 10 episodes long. The question I have is, and Wes, don't get on to me, it's not the third act, the main ending. I like how it ends, but there's a little tacked on thing that a little girl does to one of our main bad guys that I thought, really, did we have to do that? My good friend James Thomas loved it's based on a book by Matt Ruff, who's an American author. I've never read it. James has, and just adores it. He says the series just can't get close to a book. Of course, if you ever had a quarter for every time you've heard that. I may read the book now. So if you get a chance, check out Lovecraft Country. It has everything but the kitchen sink in it. For all you people who love horror, fantasy, science fiction, time travel, it's all in there. Check it out. So check out Lovecraft Country. I really recommend it. This has been Joe Lewis of Bonehead Weekly.
And welcome back, everybody, to the last few moments of Scarefest TV. Our guest tonight, Alex Montilla, director and writer of a little thing we like to call Overkill, which was the best comedy of the Scarefest 2021 Film Festival. Now, Alex, let's make you sit through this. Brandon, I think we should go ahead and start talking about some of your things that you're planning, that you're wanting to do. And the number one thing on everybody's needs to be on everybody's mind is Brandon is launching a Scarefest TikTok channel.
Nice.
Now, and he looks so damned excited about it. So anyway,
so Jesus, the same time you did that, apparently my Kentucky internet connection set to fault, and you sound like a robot.
Okay,
well, they say TikTok is Chinese malware, so I think just mentioning it, I think they're just hacking in
quite possibly
messing with your.
Oh shit!
But I learned it.
They've really cornered it down now.
Oh, good. That's as long as you learned that while giving up all your data. Who cares?
Anyway, so what we wanted to do, we're going to be running some contests and stuff coming up. We wanted to go ahead and put it out there so that you viewers could start rounding up your ideas for 10 and 15-second videos that we can hoist over onto our TikTok channel. But we will make it worth your while. And who knows, if some of you are terribly prolific at it, you might even make it more worth your while. But the point is, we'll give you something. We'll give you something.
I've seen some work from some. I've seen some of the work from folks out there on their personal pages, and I'm thoroughly impressed by it. And I think I want to elaborate on that a little bit and give you guys a chance to promote whatever work you're doing out there. And we especially have some local Kentucky filmmakers, and not even a filmmaker, but just people that are producing stuff that are really just really fun to watch, and in our backyard. So yeah, we want to help promote that. We want to help we're going to be giving out passes, all kinds of stuff. So definitely want to put that out there, and I think it'll be fun and exciting for everybody. And I've seen some really cool stuff that people have done so far. So now we're just asking you to throw it our way, and we're going to put it into a contest.
So there. And I went through TikTok, and actually most of the time on TikTok, I actually find the people I follow because I've been watching their Instagram channel. Weird as that sounds. But my thing about TikTok, now I personally have trouble coming up with anything entertaining in 10 to 15 seconds. It just so kudos. I'm throwing a little kudos out there to those that can do that.
I mean, Wes, you live on a farm. Like you've got to be able to you've got a horse and some animals. Like there's got to be some shit you can throw together for.
Well, I am looking for one of the. Okay, if you type in hashtag farm talk, and get past the girls that are using it to get you to their OnlyFans page, there are some entertaining things.
That's not like a weird dating site for people that own tractors or anything.
No, it's an actual.
Why would I get past that?
But I am looking so forward to when I'm going to film myself doing one of my little farm things, and the song goes, about to do some shady shit, doo-dah, doo-dah, hope I get away with it. So I just thought I'd throw that out there.
You should follow suit with the, what's the book? Tractors and the Men Who Love Them. You can do a whole series.
Well, there was a calendar out. Who knows? Anyway, I think we've.
I think this conversation in Los Angeles goes very well. I think everyone here would really understand.
Okay, now.
Yes, y'all. Without a doubt.
Before I let you go, Alex, I did have one more thing. You promised to tell us.
Sure.
I am world famous for picking everyone's weirdest picture off their Facebook profile to use for their banner.
Yes.
And that kind of. Yes. I like doing that to set up the whole idea of this is not going to be a serious show. We'll ask a few serious questions. Most of them we're going to talk bullshit. But in your case, you said your picture that I used on your banner had a story behind it.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So it's the picture of me holding barbecue, and it was at her cousin's house, and I'm just walking around and I see those 3 statues up there. I'm like, what the hell is this? And she's like, oh, my cousin's married to Ryan Bingham, who's a country singer, and he did the music for Crazy Heart with T-Bone Pickens, and he won all those awards. And so I just grabbed him real quick, took a photo, and put him back down to make sure not to break anything. And of course, now he's on Yellowstone, and he's really good on that.
Oh
too,
yeah.
So those are his, and I don't know that he knows I ever touched them, but I'm sure he's paying attention right now, and he's very angry.
Well, another career ruined by Scarefest TV. Okay, everybody.
He'll be your next celebrity announcement, Ryan Bingham. He's coming on to settle my hash.
You laugh, but the first time I announced Jan Birch, I was reading his IMDb, and I said, and his character in the movie is Stairmaster in The People Under the Stairs, and I made a joke about exercise equipment, and the son of a bitch was watching the show that night. So you never know. You just never know. So everybody, this has been Scarefest TV. We'll be back next week, and Brandon has already given me a celebrity name to drop in 7 days from today. So we ain't done yet. Yeah, we in the chat.
Ryan Bingham.
Yeah.
Exactly. The ink has not dried yet on the contract. Otherwise, I would have announced him tonight.
We're gonna have a cage match.
So
for those trophies.
Get your TikTok shit ready.
Trophy versus film.